It's a brand new day with Mona News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. Now, before we start this morning's with Mo, I do need to ask you all several questions like, what do you think of my hair? Got some dimension put in, but also, we don't do speaking objections. Mr. Jackson, we've talked about this. We've talked about this. You know you're not supposed to talk. Sidebar, sidebar. Anyway, I'm here because apparently, if you drink Bloody Marys every day, you have to do community service. And my doctor sounds like, well, he said I needed to do something with a little less stress. So I was going to do the news. Miss Delali, you cannot ask to preemptively object to the entire defense. I love my special boy, I really do, but protecting him has become very, very taxing. Anyway, another person who's probably going to be pretty taxing. No, we are waiting for our luncheon break to discuss that at sidebar. Not right now. Alec Baldwin wanted the biggest gun for Rust. I am not shocked. I hope his experts actually write reports because, I run a tight ship in my courtroom. Alex Baldwin is asked to be assigned the biggest gun available prior to filming Rust in 2021. Men always compensating with bigger weapons. Special prosecutors Carrie T. Morrissey. I do know a Morrissey now that I'm thinking about it. I'm sure there's no relation. And Erlinda, oh, Johnson, you know what? I knew an Erlinda once. Beautiful girl, beautiful, terrible, terrible name to saddle a beautiful woman with. But anyway, Erlinda O. Johnson introduced evidence into New Mexico courts this week, claiming Baldwin not only, quote, displayed erratic and aggressive behavior during the filming of Rust, but also displayed reckless behavior as it pertained to the use of a firearm. Well, I mean, I have seen Alec Baldwin in Glenn Glen Ross, and he used to be a dreamboat. He's not so much of a Baldwin anymore, if you get my drift. Baldwin's legal team fired back with their own motion for relief of prosecutorial misconduct. Now, as I said, there would never be prosecutorial misconduct in my courtroom. Look, when I need to lay down the smack, I pull out my, Ruth Bader Ginsburg doily necklace and I will lay the hammer down. I will lay that gavel down. There will be sidebars everywhere. So, You all need to stop testing my kindness and good graces. I've managed to keep it to, you know, size of mental defeat, but I'm really going to start putting in four-letter words here soon. Accusing state prosecutors of disclosing thousands of files in an over 10-week period and also withholding documents they believe warrant an order of dismissing the indictment with prejudice. Uh, yeah. Last month, Judge Mary Marlowe Summer rejected both of Baldwin's arguments regarding the grand jury process and denied his previous motion to dismiss the indictment. State prosecutors claimed Baldwin discharged the revolver after filming was over and cut was called, which violated the rules governing safe handling of firearms on set. They also claim that Baldwin, quote, shot several scenes wherein he placed his finger on the trigger of the revolver, where the scene did not require any shooting of the firearm, and the rushed the armorer to reload and crew members to work at a faster pace. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of fix it later. Hannah Gutierrez Reed was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in March after the jury discovered that the Rust armorer was responsible for the firearm that discharged a live bullet on the Western film set that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Let's see. Gutierrez Reed was also found not guilty of evidence of tampering. No, that girl has so many issues. She just needs a good haircut. She really does. Uh, she did a charge she received in 2023 after investigators accused her of passing a bag of cocaine on the day of of the fatal shooting. For some reason, I find that maybe the Colombian marching powder and firearms don't always go well. I see a lot of that in my courtroom. So there you go. Alec Baldwin probably going to the clink. Now, I'm not in charge of that case. Thank you, Jeebus. But hopefully the judge runs a tight ship just like I do. Uh, Now, after I'm done with this particular case, I might go here, but you can have a private dinner for two atop One World Trade Center, and I'd be okay with that. It will be my treat for myself. Self-care is very important, okay? It just is. Oh, Siri, don't give me any license to buy more wigs. Mr. Mo's already like, do you have enough? And I was like, I don't have a Bev wig. And he's like, really? The most elevated dining experience in New York City has arrived. It'll only cost you $3,000 and it's 1,250 feet in the sky. The private event space at the World One Observatory is now available to book a dinner for two, giving it an opportunity for a romantic dinner with a 360-degree view of New York City from the 102nd floor of the World Trade Center. We want everyone to have an opportunity to experience an evening on top of the world. Amber King, Senior Director of Special Events at One World Observatory, told Food and Wine. Now, I mean, hmm, $3,000 is a bit pricey, but I think I deserve it after I had to deal with Mr. Jackson and Mr. Yannetti. I Miss Little hasn't really talked enough for me to get a gauge on her, but between holding Lolly's hands and Mr. Yannetti and Mr. Jackson with their comments, you need to take some time for you time. And since I don't dare go to a salon or buy purple hair shampoo, this is going to be my treat for me. Aspire has been historically utilized for weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and corporate events. Now, for a starting price of just $3,000, the 900 square room, floor to ceiling windows can be reserved for just you and plus one. We offer a private escort, or now, I really do hope they mean escort as in someone leading you, Mr. Lolly. You're not supposed to ask leading questions. But if it's the other kind of ex or escort, we might have a problem. We offer you a private escort to your appearance or experience, a curated playlist, a private culinary team and waitstaff, along with a bottle of Dom Perignon and pre-selected four-course meal of your choice with wine service. The venue will be adorned with rose red petals and a range of pillar candles to set the tone for a memorable evening. Yeah, Mr. Mo says that he bought us a memorable experience in New York City, and it comes with a couple, candles, and y'all have seen those plates that they give in these fine dining establishments. Well, it's no I mean, it's no country Cracker Barrel, if you will. There's like 2 bites on each of those plates, and they all seem to use cilantro and avocado for some reason that I think is a weird, you know, well, I guess agreement with some sort of demonic, entity to add fennel, kale, and avocado to everything. Uplighting, extensive florals, a string quartet, a personal photographer, upgraded bar service, a live band band or singer, additional guests, a private tour guide. The list goes on. All these elements are available for an upgraded rate, but can be completely managed and arranged by the events team. According to Food and Wine, the private dining experience has just one table in the center of the large event space, and the meal is personally designed and prepared by Chef Raoul Vincent, who leads the kitchen at One Dine. Honest to God, y'all, he would walk out. He'd be like, who ordered chicken fingers with a side of ranch and some damn french fries? And I'd be like, "Hello, my name is Mo, and I have a YouTube channel, sort of." Also, don't sneak any kale or avocados or fennel into these. I will be watching. My focus on new American cuisine takes inspiration from my Caribbean background, as well as the influence of New York City being a melting pot of all cultures, Chef Vincent told the outlet. The emphasis on the varying flavors of New York City's culinary scene is meant to complement the overall experience. Not only will guests experience the sights of the city from the highest point, but they'll be able to taste and discover the flavors that made New York a true culinary wonder. Uh, so I'm getting a hot dog, foldable pizza, and the best bagel ever because I'm kind of saying I'd be okay with that particular walk through New York culinary history. Aspire isn't meant for a spontaneous date night, but more for something special and meaningful, such as proposals, anniversaries, and engagements. You can plan a romantic occasion with the views of Midtown, downtown Manhattan, the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, Liberty Island, Governor's Island, New Jersey, Staten Island, and Brooklyn. The private dining experience that Aspire launched this week is now booking through Labor Day. After Labor Day, the event space will be booked 1 month out. Well, there you go, guys. If you'd like to drop a quick 3K on a empty room that you can sit and stare outside at things from a high distance, this might be the experience for you. Um, Honestly, give me a cabin in the woods with some fairy lights outside and just quiet and maybe a bonfire, and I'll be good. Uh, Howie Mandel's wife may have been trying to drink enough to keep up with Miss Reed, the defendant. Uh, but allegedly she was also part of the Canton continuum in which you can drink but also not be drunk, which I tend to like. But let's see. America's Got Talent judge Howie Mandel dealt with quite a headache during a recent trip to Las Vegas. During his Live with Kelly and Mark appearance on Monday, Mandel disclosed details about his recent visit to Sin City with his wife of over 40 years, Terry. "We partied," Mandel began. "It was a little too much and Terry was tipsy. I didn't know that in the middle of the night she got up. I don't know where she was headed, but she headed into the wall, and then she fell down and hit the wainscoting. She hit that as she went down, slipped, went down, and hit that on her eye, then fell to the floor and broke her cheek." I mean, was it at Bud Light? Because really, that would be the only objection we have here. It has to be White Claw or Sex on the Beach. I mean, that's the only way you can be drunk enough to not be drunk enough to fall down. We have a science here in Canton. Uh, we have down to the molecule of how much alcohol that our law enforcement brave men and women can have, where they're simply better than us at gauging alcohol. They really are. I heard a bang and ah. I woke up and went, "Where are you?" And she went, "I don't know." That's when she said, or that's what she said, Mandel explained. A grisly photograph of Terry's face following the incident was shared with the audience. It showed significant bruising and lacerations to her forehead and eye. Are we sure? Do we have Trooper Paul anywhere in the building? Because I do believe that this could all be explained with an exploding taillight. Trooper Paul, Trooper Paul. I'm gonna have to text Lolly, get this trooper guy back in here because I think I have figured out a way to win this case. Excuse me 1 second. Let me text my special little guy, Lolly, LLL, Lolly. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. I just had to send him this link because I think we can make a fairly clear connection on how women drinking is just a bad idea. In a later interview, the former Deal or No Deal host, do they have a picture? No, guess not. Uh, Explained the actual sequence of events. "I turn on the light, I look around the bed. She's in the corner, face down. I didn't know if she'd cut her head, but the blood was pooling," he revealed. "I freaked out, picked her up, put her on the bed. There's blood everywhere. I went and grabbed all the towels. All the towels are covered in blood. And she's going, 'Get me ice, get me ice.' I don't even know where to get ice." The 68-year-old comedian settled for a Coca-Cola can from the hotel's minibar. Mr. Mandel, everyone knows that hotel minibars are entrapment. You didn't bring your lawyer. Come on now. This is a courtroom. I mean, why would you? He's gonna have to pay for that, and all I'm imagining at this moment are those pristine, clean, but somewhat sandpapery white towels that they give you in a hotel room are just stained red. Now, granted, maybe Mr. Mandel and Mrs., Howie go to more, fun hotels than I do. Maybe they have fluffy white towels, but, all I'm imagining is that some poor housekeeper has to try to launder the, absolute mess that this hotel room was. Um, but Terry ultimately chucked the can across the room after he placed it directly on on her head. See, you can't win for losing. I feel that in my soul. Uh, Mendel tried again, this time covering two cans with a towel, but Terry reacted the same way. When she did that, I saw her head, and you could actually see her skull. It opened up, he said, sharing it to the horror of the audience. I freaked. Also, I do know allegedly, now this is scuttlebutt, but Howie Mandel is famously like a germaphobe, like a "I don't touch you, I wear gloves" Howard Hughes type of person. So, I can only imagine that he, like me, was less than helpful when there was blood involved because, 90% of my brain is, "Don't pass out, it's just blood. Do not pass out. Be comforting." But yeah. Mendel explained that he asked hotel security to call 911, but they insisted on coming to his hotel room. He later took his wife to the hospital where she received medical attention. Mendel assured host Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos that his wife was well past on the mend. She's absolutely perfect, he said. There's not a scar. She's beautiful. I love Bobby's World. And hey Joe, just for that, look up the song "Is It Love or Is It Gas?" because I'm pretty sure that's my romance language. I loved Bobby's World. I loved the mom, I loved everything about it. So, there you go. I am glad she's okay, but, how the hell many White Claws did this woman have? And considering I can fall into a wall on my own, maybe she's just channeling her inner, Mo. I'm just saying. Uh, in Dumpster Fire People, I will never be able to forgive her. Firefighter's wife learns her fate for telling her boyfriend she's married and dating. How progressive. Does she know Nick Rekieta? Let's see here. So she could receive his benefits. Well, ma'am, I mean, that is a resting bee face if I have ever seen one. I feel like some people just are absolutely for sure guilty just by the look on her face. And oh my God, this woman, that is what we call a permanent scowl. This is why I take my beauty care seriously. This is the daisy yellow I was born with. I take my vitamins, I take my ginkgo biloba, I take everything, and then a nice Valium topper sometimes when I know that the state is gonna bring someone in who's really boring. It's a struggle to be me. She would be from my home state. An Indiana woman will spend the rest of her life behind bars for telling her lover to kill her longtime firefighter husband. I mean, look at this man's handlebar mustache. This firefighter has the best mustache ever. Elizabeth Fox Dewar, 52, was found guilty by a jury of murder and conspiracy to commit murder in the death of 51-year-old Robert Doer, Indiana court records show. Evansville police determined that she told her lover, Larry Richmond, 45, "Well, ma'am, maybe I misjudged you. A younger man, you say? You know, there was this very charming doctor, Dr. Wolf. I'm just saying, maybe I could be there. I mean, I'm not saying I've picked one out of the herd, but it never plays, it never hurts to have your saddle waxed and ready, if you catch my drifts, ladies." Let's see here. The slain firefighter was found dead in his driveway on February 26, 2019, just after 7 p.m. Police say Richmond shot Dewar at least 3 times as the firefighter exited his truck after working a 12-hour shift, according to probable cause affidavits obtained by Courier and Press. On Monday, a judge sentenced her to 90 years in prison, 60 years for aiding the murder, and 30 years for committing conspiracy to murder. Friends and family of both Dewar and Fox Dewar packed the courtroom for the sentencing, local reports said. Dewar or Fox Dewar's own son testified against her and advocated for his stepfather, Dewar. Quote, "I will never be able to forgive her for being the reason my siblings and I have lost the family we grew up with," Nathan Guthrie said. But her other son spoke on his mother's behalf, saying she forged goodness into him and would not order a murder. "Everything she taught me made me the man I am today," her son Taylor Barrett said. Fellow firefighter Larry Wilt said Doer's death was the day that turned a lot of people's lives upside down. "I lost my best friend, fishing partner, my bowling partner," he said. Richmond is accused of fatally shooting Dewar and is currently awaiting trial. Fox Dewar, who dialed 911 that night, was originally charged with obstruction of justice and falsely informing for allegedly deleting a phone call record before the authorities, arrived. Those charges were eventually dropped in October 2019. In July 2022, Dora was charged again, at that time with perjury, and she was detained since her arrest, according to local ABC affiliate WEHT. Prosecutors said initial charges against the widow were dropped at the request of police to make sure a trial did not interfere with the murder investigation. Authorities charged Fox Dewar with the murder in August 2022. Despite the verdict, Fox Dewar maintained her innocence. "Ma'am, do you know how many innocent people who have never done anything I see in my court? I never asked anyone to murder my husband. My world came crashing down on the night of February 26, 2019. I was in shock, devastated, lost. I've never been the same since," she said at her sentencing. Guthrie told jurors Dewar was a father like him. "It's been 5 long years and finally justice has been served," he told the Courier and Press after the verdict. "Dad can finally rest. He can finally sleep. He can be put to rest." Fox Dewar's defense attorney vehemently denied that his client had anything to do with the victim's murder. He said the state never proved that Fox Dewar told Richmond to kill her husband. "It felt like I just listened to a screenplay for a novel or crime novel that was based on fiction," attorney Mike Phillips said during a closing argument, according to the Courier and Press. The state of Indiana, through its prosecutor, wants you to speculate. Good morning, Roxanne and Jedi Jess R. and Cynthia Firefighter. Sorry, it's hard to switch back from Bev to me to read actual things, then to also keep up with chat. So thanks for everyone that is joining this morning. Uh, but the Vanderburgh County prosecutor, Dana Moore, said the evidence was clear. Not only did phone logs show how that she spoke to Richmond before the murder, but there was also a motive to kill her husband because she wanted to receive 75% of Doerr's firefighter pension for life along with a $12,000 death benefit. Without the defendant in this case, Larry Richmond would have no reason to murder Doerr, Moore said. The Courier Press reported, according to a probable cause affidavit, the male defendant's son told the police in 2019 that his father sent him and his mother a letter, one in which, according to the police account, said, if the gun he stole ever pops up, they will be trying him for murder or accessory to murder. Richmond was arrested less than a month after the shooting due to his son's tip. Police found a box of guns with serial numbers removed and buried in Richmond's backyard. That's the best way to look not guilty. Bury all the evidence. If only Karen had buried her her tail light pieces before we before the state found them. According to affidavits, the Evansville Police Department investigation also came to rely on the word of a jailhouse informant who said Richmond had admitted to the murder of Doerr on multiple occasions. People say that Fox Doerr eventually admitted to deleting a phone record, which detailed a phone call with her co-defendant telling him when her husband would arrive home because she knew he had been in trouble before and did not want investigators to think the duo had been carrying on romantically. One of the affidavits obtained by WEHT alleges. Cops said the police call in question occurred between 6:46 p.m. and 6:51 p.m. The first 911 call was made at 7:05 p.m. Her husband worked at Evansville Fire Department for 28 years, his obituary said. Robbie was a workaholic, but when not working, he enjoyed fishing, bowling, and spending time with his granddaughters, the tribute said. So I'm at least happy that the family members got some closure, justice a little bit, but nothing's going to bring this, hardworking man back. And the two people that did it maybe it's the clear glasses, but she looks like she has never smiled in her entire life. She looks like a person I would actively avoid because she just has a deeply unpleasant face. And she has structurally, it's okay, pretty ish, like you can do things with it, but she just looks permanently sour. There's people that have laugh lines because they're mostly laughing at themselves or at, funny things. She just has permanent scowl face. I expect her to be riding around town in a bike and stealing people's puppies before a tornado comes in. Wizard of Oz reference. Well, you know, Judge Bev has a hard job, but these two might have a harder day coming up. Two astronauts wait to come home as Boeing races to understand aircraft issues. Well, I would kind of hope that you'd have all issues with, aircrafts figured out before you send my ass into space, but hey, what are you going to do? Boeing's Starline spacecraft was sent to mark its crowning achievement this month, ferrying two NASA astronauts on a round trip to the International Space Station, proving the long delay over budget capsule is up for the task. Well, Starliner is halfway to that goal, but the two veteran Astronauts piloting this test flight are now in a tentative position, extending their stay aboard the space station for a second time, while engineers on the ground scramble to learn more about issues that plagued the first leg of their journey. Uh, Spaceflight veterans Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore have arrived at space station aboard Starliner on June 6th. NASA said it initially projected their stay would last about a week, but troubles the vehicle experienced en route, including helium leaks and thrusters that abruptly stopped working, have raised questions about the back half of the mission. Williams and Whitmore will now return no earlier than June 26. NASA announced Tuesday, stretching their mission to at least 20 days as engineers race to gain better understanding of the spacecraft's problem while it's safely attached to the space station. I mean, y'all, I don't mean to rain on Boeing's parade, but Boeing, you're not having a great year. And if one more whistleblower comes out, I don't know that you're going to be able to have them have an arc inside as quickly as possible. I mean, I don't know how you fix a spaceship and also keep whistleblowers scared to death, but you seem to be doing a good job. I mean, just Boeing could have had a better year. Officials have said there's no reason to believe the Starliner won't be able to bring astronauts back home. They consulted with the engineers of this unsinkable ship called the Titanic. Uh, Though we really want to work through the remainder of the data, said Steve Stitch, NASA's Commercial Crew Program Manager, at a Tuesday news conference. Meanwhile, Boeing has sought to frame the mission as a success and a learning opportunity, albeit one that has left the Starliner team grappling with the unplanned side of the mission. As Mark Nappy, Boeing's vice president and program manager, how apropos is it that, Boeing's vice president's last name is Nappy when they seem to be doing more Amber Heards in the bed this year than, well, anything. Objection, Mr. Fundian. You know, obviously, I don't allow facts into my courtroom. Let's see here. It's not uncommon for astronauts to unexpectedly extend their stay aboard the space station. Hotel California in space. You're always welcome, but you can never leave. NASA also said that the Starliner can spend up to 45 days in orbiting laboratory if they need. The situation makes for a moment of uncertainty and embarrassment as it joins a long list of similar blunders by the Boeing Starliner program, which is already years behind schedule. I'm sure if we throw more money on it, it'll be great. Boeing and NASA engineers said they are opting to leave the Starliner and with it, Williams and Wilmore aboard the space station longer than expected, primarily to carry out additional analysis. The helium leaks and thruster issues occurred on part of the vehicle not intended to survive the trip home from the mission. So, mission teams are delaying the spacecraft's return as part of a last dish effort to learn everything they can about what went wrong. Well, maybe because y'all kind of are sucking out loud at your jobs anymore, Boeing. I don't know. Danger looms anytime a spacecraft returns home from orbit. It is perhaps the most perilous stretch of any mission to space. Yeah, ask Challenger, the, well, unfortunate unaliving that every kid saw in third grade because a teacher in space. That went swimmingly well. Columbia. No, I was you're right. So there you go. I'm sure Boeing will pull this one out of the clinch. I have all the faith in the world that Boeing is going to get this figured out, and or, as Von Diane said, well, the two astronauts are the whistleblowers, and JKD Buck, we all know that the timeline was disrupted by CERN, and we are off on a whole other tangent of absurdity that we will never figure out. In good news, oh, the cold case of a Maryland mother was cracked after police arrested the ex-boyfriend of the victim's daughter. So I am glad that we do have some dedicated police that are working on cold case, cases like this to finally get answers to families. The cold case murder of a mom who was killed more than 2 decades ago in the affluent Maryland neighborhood was cracked Tuesday when authorities arrested the former boyfriend of the victim's daughter, according to police. Eugene Gilgore, 44, was taken into custody by the U.S. Marshals Task Force and charged with the first-degree murder of Leslie Preener, 50, who was found dead inside her Chevy Chase home on May 2nd, 2001, Montgomery police said. The case went cold. DNA recovered from the scene in 2001 was sent to a lab in 2022 to undergo forensic genetic genealogy analysis, police said. Investigators were able to collect DNA evidence belonging to Gilgore on June 9th that turned up a match from the blood collected inside Prayer's house, according to police. It's unclear how they got the DNA from the murder suspect. I swear to goodness, if they also got it from pizza, I will. This timeline is a simulation. If they get his DNA off a crust of a pizza, I I don't know what I'll do, but I mean, it would make sense to me in this current timeline. Pryor told Fox 9 or Fox 5 DC that she and Gilgore lived in the same area and started going out when she was 15 years old. The two families knew each other. It's been a hell of a day, the daughter told the station. He was my ex-boyfriend. The two even ran into each other at a DC restaurant last year. He didn't seem weird. How can you look somebody in the eye knowing that he committed this crime and act like nothing happened? It's pretty unusual, she added. Pryor's body was found inside her home after she failed to show up at work. The crime scene was described as brutal with a lot of blood. Montgomery homicide detective Tara Bioni told Fox 9 DC in 2022. Gilgore is being held in DC, though extradition process is expected to get underway to bring him back to Maryland. So I am glad that they found these people. Well, I didn't actually read the full article. I will tell you, so it is from Yahoo, and I can link it to, or I can send it to you in DMs. But it Boeing seems to have been a little bit confused. uh, in some good news, but as a judge, I cannot condone vigilante justice. But apparently, mowing the deep end is okay with this particular act. She can't be a witness or an expert, but she condones this kind of thing. A family of Taekwondo instructors save a Texas woman from SA. I mean, I'm here for it. I would love to learn a martial art, but let's just be Uh, let's just be clear. I lack the body coordination to do most anything, even walk. This piercing scream, a sound from a horror film, triggered Taekwondo instructor Simon An to draw on his years of martial art excuse me. Around 4 p.m. Tuesday, shortly after the doors of his family owned and operated studio in Texas opened for the evening class, Anne and his father, his mother, his older sister, and his younger brother heard shrieks coming from a neighboring business. The family of five, each with a fourth degree black belt, run the Yong in Taekwondo Dojo in Katy outside Houston. They initially ignored the sounds, assuming they came from employees playing around in their break room, but then a final piercing scream prompted the family into action, On said. His family ran to the store and opened the door. They found a man on top of a young lady with his hand in inappropriate places as she attempted to fend him off, On said. An's father, Hong, yanked the attacker away by his shirt and pinned him to the ground. An's sister Hannah grabbed the girl and rushed her out of the room, while An and his brother helped subdue the attacker. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have always harbored this secret desire to want to turn my children into the Partridge Family, despite having absolutely no musical talent whatsoever. But um, I'm kind of okay with us becoming now a crime fighting squad, a la the Ninja Turtles. But I'm pretty sure that that won't be actually happening. It would just happen so sudden, said An, who's been practicing Taekwondo for 16 years. It was all self defense. The intruder was trying to run away, scratching, biting, anything he could do. But An's dad, a Taekwondo grandmaster, held the attacker for 10 minutes until law enforcement arrived, he said. My dad is strong. He expected us to protect him and said he had a lot of trust in us. The Harris County Sheriff's Department credited An and his family with saving the young woman from SA. By utilizing their training and discipline, they managed to stop the SA and hold him. Now, I will say, you guys, that should me and my, highly fictional band of Ninja Turtle esque fighting family had done that, uh, I don't know that I would have just pinned him allegedly on Minecraft. Look, this one would get a little too close to my my feels a little bit because I have young daughters and yeah, no. Everyone's someone's young daughter. Every woman is someone's daughter and no. Now if they were doing the same thing to a little guy, a guy, I'd feel just as mad. I believe so. I believe it's Lord Chippy time for this particular garbage, trash water human being, but he is innocent until he's proven guilty. But he would have maybe a little bit more lumps and bruises on him in my effort to aggressively pin him. The suspect has been charged with attempted SA and unlawful detention. Thank you to the Yon in Dojo for your quick action and protecting others. So I do like that it does seem in several of the stories that I've covered in the last week or so that people are fighting back, doing what they can do, and it's really nice to see that people are trying, look, not in an aggressive or even joking, you know, extra force kind of way. People are starting to take personal ownership of their communities again. She's part of our community. You don't get to do that to her. We protect our good friend, the good citizens that just want Dang it, Zach, I had a really serious point. But people are starting to do, things to help their fellow person. It seems like for a little bit there, maybe us, regular people got a little bit, I don't know, paralyzed or the problem looked too big. But we are seeing stories pop up here, here, and here where citizens are starting to really kind of, hey, this is our community. We're taking it back. So I am encouraged by that. And Fraud at Wrangler, thank you for your super chat. And absolutely, this picture does look like a whole lot of a whoopin', a can of whoop-a, if you will, pre-shaken and ready to go. That is a sacrifice that most people wouldn't make, and I applaud you. That was actually a real sigh because this summer's game has been who can tattle and narc to mom first. And you should definitely believe me over my brother because reasons. Okay. Hey, you guys, stop calling each other stupid. Y'all, just, everyday normal stuff. Now, no jokes, I would totally do this, not as Bev, not as any sort of shtick, but I would totally go pick my own muscle to make my own DIY jewelry, but the fact that it is in New York is like, probably not gonna happen. New Yorkers are fishing for mussels in a jewelry store to DIY their own custom pearl accessories. As long as they don't make me eat them too. Ooh. Look, I tried oysters once, and I know mussels and oysters are not the same thing, but I don't understand why the more classy among us think that, you know, slurping down snot of the sea with lemon is is a delicacy. I I Sassy Pants, I am trying to keep an open mind. I am trying to keep an open mind with Scott Peterson simply because, I was graduating high school at the time he was doing the trial, and I had not discovered the full power of my femininity, which means, tapping into my deep need to cover everything true crime. So I'm trying to keep an open mind as I've become more inculcated of the justice system and how things can be shaded different ways. But mass, that's a hard pass for me. I'm okay. I'll leave all creatures that aren't chicken nuggets on the menu for other people. If you want pearl jewelry from this Soho shop, you're going to have to use some muscle. New York Post, what have I told you about using terrible puns? I'm going to give you a caution, but next time I will hold you in contempt. At Pearl and the Beast, shoppers can go fishing for mussels, shuck them open themselves for shiny pearls to make their own necklaces, rings, and more. And you don't have to shell out much for your DIY pearl accessories. One fresh catch of the day is $70 to $80 per mussel. Uh, Crystal Chen, the 23-year-old Brooklynite and founder, told the Post that it's the first and only mussel shop in the US. Business is booming at the Shell 22 Howard Street shop. On weekends, we sell about 100 mussels a day, and weekdays, about 20 mussels a day, Chen said. It really is. It really is. It's almost a crime against humanity, but I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Pearl-seeking patrons can scoop out their chosen large mussel from regular fish tanks inside the store. The row of tank is filled with different types of mussels, labeled by the pearls inside: Baroque, Weirdo, Edison, and Classic, based on the pearl's size, shape, color, and luster. And we all know which one Mo is going for. It is the Weirdo. uh, My favorite, I would say, is the Baroque, and the most popular is the Classic, Chen said. Question for Miss Chen. If I buy two of the weirdos, can I have it for the price of one normal? Just asking for a friend. Also, do you have a Groupon? Uh, some clients are lucky to find multiple pearls inside their mussels. If a customer's mussel washes up empty, the store associates will pick another shellfish free of charge. I mean, it's a cool concept. I would totally do this. Please send one to Indiana, though, because I will not be going to New York to do this. These pearls are really a diamond in the rough. Pearls and mussels are rare, according to the BBC. One in about 5,000 hide pearls inside. Once a mussel is cracked open with a shucking knife and other tools, customers have to search through the shellfish's slimy interior and squeeze and pop out any pearls. I mean, you don't have to sell me on it anymore. If this combines the satisfaction of popping a pimple and I get jewelry, I mean, I was already sold, Your Honor. That, as an invasive as a pearl search is, team members assist in the extraction process. That's followed by a 20-minute cleaning procedure, dunking the pearls into a 30% solution of water and a powdery substance made up of what Chen calls secret ingredients to remove bacteria and muscle coat from the jewel. Interesting. I mean, I'd be cool with doing all of that. After a polish to enhance their natural luster, jewelry makers can help customers create custom sterling silver jewelry, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, brooches, pendants, hairpins, and rings, incorporating their pearly finds. The choice of jewelry has a separate price, costing between $20 or $80. And there's a pearl of wisdom. Extra gems not set into jewelry are sent home with the with the customers. Chen said they can bring them back to make more jewelries or accessories. Many creatives also take their mussel shells home to transform it into a jewelry holder, a candle stand, a necklace pendant, charms, spoons, or framed art. Chen, who started her company in 2023, says she gets her shellfish from a freshwater pearl farm that delivers mussels directly to her. The self-taught jewelry maker claimed her establishment is the first in the US to offer an experience with real pearl extractions from mussels, while other shops hawk oysters with a singular mussel pearl. I mean, I'd be down for sound with this. And I will say that the pearl for me, and just for me, has become a real symbol this year of how to take something incredibly upsetting, hurtful, or painful and turn it into something beautiful. So I would totally buy all of this jewelry, which is why it's good I don't live in New York, because I still have wigs and Sailor Moon stuff to hawk and buy. By the way, on that note, I will say, or I will show you guys this. It'll be on with Baker, but I finished. So now I get to work on a whole new cross stitch project. I swear to goodness, wheels, don't lock up on me now. It's done. All I need to do is wash off the ink, and I have started on a new Lord of the Rings cross stitch. So, you know, it it makes things a lot of fun when I can sit and do trials and also do my crafty stuff. Any hoozle, I am going to be sending you guys off to Baker. Uh, if you did not get a chance last night to watch, like me, to watch Baker's panel that he had with Ian Runkle, Melanie Little, the Young Jerks, and a couple other people talking, and Valhalla as well, talking about the Karen Reed case, I encourage you to look at that on the replay crew with me and just, have a great, great day. And I will see you over there in just a couple minutes. I'm going to make sure that the boys are actually getting dressed for tutoring, which, sometimes can be a little lost in translation. Although I don't know how it is confusing that you can't wear just shorts and no shirt and no shoes to tutoring. So I will be over there in just a couple minutes. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me, everyone, this morning. And I will be back here tonight at 7 p.m. with Nightly Newsy News. So if you need more news to end your day, give me a shot. Bye, guys.